I wanted to give you some tips as an artist that raised 3 boys single. I had to learn how to balance art with life, things like laundry, food, cleaning, taking people places and picking them up, and teaching art at school. And I think a lot of times we think that we have to do family or art, and that's really not the case. It is a way that it enriches your life to be creative in some way. So if you're a person that's creative and you have a family and you are thinking you can't do both right now, I want to give you 10 tips that will help you kind of find the balance between those two things. Number 1 is don't feel guilty. You are a creative person and that's part of who you are, so you don't need to give that up. Number 2 is keep something that you can work on in your family space, like in your living room or at your kitchen table, someplace that you do life with your family. Don't make a separate art room or a separate studio space out in the garage. If your children are small, then you can have them do an art activity in a space that's the family community art space. It doesn't have to be just for you. When kids get older, then it's a little bit easier to have an area for more things that get to stay out. But the key is let them stay out. If you have to spend time on getting things out and cleaning it up, then you're less likely to start doing something that's creative in the evening or in the early morning hours. The third tip is to create small goals that are creative projects for yourself instead of bigger goals. If you can, at the times in your life, at different stages, then you can gauge what you can work on. When my kids were small and we were doing homework at the table at the time between after school and before I started preparing for dinner, I worked on small things, small drawings, small paintings, jewelry, anything that I could just do a few of. Then number 4 kind of goes with that. The 4th tip is try to batch things. If you're a creative person and you're working on something that is a way that you can create an assembly line process with it, then it's easier for you to continue going. So you do batching of things. If you are doing jewelry, then you're looping wire for bales. If you're doing ceramics, do small things that you're doing a bunch of at once. If you're doing drawings, then create smaller drawings on smaller papers. Then the 5th thing is to be sure and carve out the time as if it was exercise or eating or anything else that is a mandatory part of your day. If you don't carve out that time for yourself to be creative, then you start feeling resentful, you start getting really angry, and it's not a good thing. A lot of times we think we'll do our art or our creative process after we finish the laundry or the dishes or the sweeping or cleaning the bathrooms, but you have to create the process of creating just like you do anything else. There needs to be a time for it, and you don't give up that time, you don't sacrifice that time, you carve it out and then you hold those boundaries. And then the next one is media management. If your kids are small, then don't get watercolors and things out that you don't feel that are conducive to you being able to get anything done. Little hands will be all over it and kids will be in your lap, and it's a lot harder to do some medias when you're growing a family or you have a significant other or you have animals, or so you have to gauge your media management by what you can do in your space. So messy things might be better off to be on Saturdays in a space where you can carve out the time to do those messy things. And If it's a messy thing you can include with your family and your kids and give them a part in it, then it's even better. It's a sacred time. Then number 7 is to make your needs clear. If the kids know that your art space is on the kitchen table and that's your art space, that's mom's stuff, or if your significant other needs to help you with some chores so you can carve out that time, then you need to make those needs really clear so that there is nobody guessing about what you need and they can't figure out why you're in a bad mood because you don't really express it clearly enough. The next one is you got to decide what's really important. If you can, sacrifice some of the things that you don't really need to do so that you can get some time for creative time for yourself. It's really hard and things change and fluctuate, but if you can really decide, okay, what do I really need to do? Okay, I need to do laundry and dishes, and I definitely need to take my kids to school and pick them up. I need to do my job, whatever. Those things that are really important to-dos, and then find your carve out time. If you start stacking up extra things like dusting the baseboards or the ceiling fans and all of the things that are, chores in life, then you can make that list really, really long. So what's really important? You're important and your happiness is important. So what things can you shove off your plate and just have those things? And then number 9 is your note card of goals. You can keep it either on your phone, you can make a note card, which is what I like because I'm really analog about that. You can use a sticky note, whatever works for you, but make 3 goals for yourself that have to do with your art. You can make them simple goals, and some of them are like setting up things to do, but always try to keep 3 basic things that can help you sort of line out your art goals. And then the last one is a little tip about seasons. In your life, this is going to be a part of you, and it's not going to go away if you're really truly a creative person that needs to do something, make something, create things. It's not going away. But there are seasons in which you'll be able to stockpile things and make more stuff and build an inventory of items when you have slower seasons. And then there are seasons where you're out and about and you're selling your work, you're at fairs, you're at shows, you're doing a lot of other things. So be mindful of seasons, and it's okay. And breaks are okay. In this process and through our whole life, we tend to create extra pressure to always be on and always be super ready to do all the things. So if you're in a season, it's okay. It's a season, and it's going to pass into another direction that you might go. And then finally, I just want to remind you, because myself as an art teacher, and I know a lot of art teachers feel that they all give away all of themselves so that they have nothing left to create with once they do have their own time off. And I want to try to erase that idea and think of it more as that your life, no matter what your job is or what size family or responsibilities, your life is enriching your art. It is part of what you make because of your life. So be mindful of what in your life is part of what you're thinking about or you're experiencing. Even if it's a sketch at night, okay, that's great. You're recording your life. You're making something about your life. If it's setting up some photos, journaling, all these things matter. And instead of putting extra pressure on yourself about making stuff after you get home, think about what enriched my life today that I can make art about. And that kind of flips it. And finally, our creativity is not compartmentalized from our life. It's part of our life. So don't feel guilty and feel like you have to separate it. It should be in your living space, part of the way you live, and just accept it, and your family will accept it too. All right. Thanks for coming and viewing this video. I hope to see you in the next video. I'm going to be uploading 2 more videos here shortly. And don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things so that we can continue doing this journey together.